Mastering steep climbs by Velomobile. We want to master steep climbs without overloading ourselves or the Velomobile drivetrain. Only if our driving technique and our driving strategy is suitable to bring us and the Velomobile home safely in all driving situations, we've done it right. What is the use of escaping the dangers of the surrounding traffic, but to have to be taken home because of a chain rupture, a derailleur failure, cramps in my legs or a bonk? Experienced velonauts will shake their heads now and probably think, this will of course not happen to me. Be it as it may, but experienced velonauts are not the typical spectator the video is aiming at. But I ensure Velomobile beginners or recumbent bike riders to be that these problems don't occur only for upright race bike riders. Especially when the leg muscles are not fully trained for the specific efforts in a recumbent bike position, steep climbs can ruin a long tour totally. What are the requirements to be fulfilled for mastering steep climbs, especially by Velomobile? What is usually the standard equipment in Velomobiles should be exchanged at trikes and recumbent bikes. In other words, clipless pedal systems. Clipless pedals are much more important on recumbent bikes than on upright bikes, not to slip off the pedal and to ensure a proper reproducible power input. Only this way, ankle and knee joints, Achilles, patella and other tendons and ligaments can be protected to avoid false strain or undue biomechanical stress caused by a wrong pedaling process. By the way, the cleats under the cycling shoes should be mounted a little farther backwards for a recumbent bike than for the use on an upright bike. Many Velomobiles are usually rather equipped for the flats than for hilly regions. Those who want to travel in hilly regions should have mounted or exchanged gears to a suitable gear transmission ratio for steep climbs. Who, like me, has to change the cassette at a Quest Velomobile with a rear swing arm made of carbon fiber, I have made a tutorial video for about the rear wheel removal. See the link to this video top right here or below in the video description. My Quest Velomobile originally came with the same gear transmission ratios as my race bike has. At first I didn't give it any attention. But at the beginning, after shorter Velomobile tours, I got knee and ligament pain for days because I often started in too high gears, and on steep climbs, even in the lowest gear, I had to pedal in much too low revs. What went wrong? You can drive an upright bike out of the saddle and generate high torque on the pedal with the help of your body weight in extremely low pedaling cadence. This isn't possible in a recumbent cycling position. Here the torque has to be generated by the leg muscles only and has to be transferred over a much wider crank angle through your bent knee joints. The second point is, in a Velomobile, the weight of the system of rider and vehicle is in my case more than 20% higher. Therefore, I am more than 20% slower on steep climbs than on an upright race bicycle, even if I can manage to generate the same pedaling performance in the recumbent cycling position as out of the saddle on the upright bike, which seems to me almost impossible anyway. Let's look at it from the point of view of theory. An upright cyclist whose bicycle has a weight of 8 kilos and the rider himself of 80 kilos adds up to a weight of the whole cycling system of 88 kilos. If the same rider is driving a Velomobile, let's say a 30 kilo Quest including its equipment, the weight of the cycling system adds up to 110 kilos. The quotient of both cycling system weights is 110 kilos to 88 kilos equals 1.25. That means the system Velomobile including rider is 25% heavier and at a minimum of 25% slower on steep climbs than the upright bicycle system. A minimum of 25% slower because the rolling resistance of a Velomobile is a bit higher than the one of an upright race bike, and the Velomobile cannot play off its aerodynamic advantages while traveling with not much more than walking speed. So the gear transmission ratio has to be designed to be able to pedal this 20% to 30% lower speed, still with a healthy pedaling cadence of, let's say, more than 60 Hz. Here you see a direct comparison of two rides on the same climb, one before the change of transmission ratio and one after. An extra of 4 teeth on the biggest gear wheel of the cassette have increased my cadence by approximately 10 Hz and have reduced my heart rate and with it the effort from more than 98% to now 87% of the maximum heart rate. Before I struggled on the climb, now I master it relaxedly and with a smile on my face. When the technical requirements are finally fulfilled, the steep climbs are much less intimidating for the Velonaut, even on long tours, given he uses the right driving strategy. The first strategical principle is don't overpace. So take it easy, blacken off, no pressure on steep climbs. Think of the Chinese proverb, when you are in a hurry, slow down. Or transferred to our situation, do you want to advance quickly on a long tour? Drive deliberately slowly on the very steep sections. If you wear down your resources of carbohydrates at those steep climbs far away from home, it can terribly turn against you on your way back. When you are on a long tour, your heart rate shouldn't reach the red zone at all. That means less than 94% of the maximum heart rate. Since in the very high heart rate zones your carbohydrates are burned disproportionately fast and your muscles are knackered much more quickly. Who wants still to get home single-handedly should monitor himself and his capacities. I do not want to go into detail here about the value of drinking enough on tour and eating carbohydrates regularly. This is explained already by the various race bike channels well enough. My second strategical principle is change gears in time and anticipating. You should change gears when you still can do it without haste and first of all without much load on the pedals. That prevents the derailleur, the chain and the gears from damage. Nobody wants a Velomobile breakdown caused by a chain or derailleur failure. Therefore, I often prefer the gear change to keeping up the momentum at steep climbs. The comparatively little gain in time here at very steep climbs is quickly spent when you run into problems changing gears and end up overloading yourself or the Velomobile's drivetrain. You should know yourself and your technical equipment well enough before you test out the limits.
Schönen Sonntag.